Hey guys, it's Andrew at Reel Rollers. Today we're going to be putting together a C27 handlebar right here, and I'm pretty excited about it actually because this mower is ready to go pretty much out of the box. You got to do the last 2% of it, but it's really not a big deal. We're going to walk through it. It's going to be awesome. All right guys, so you'll need a ratchet, 2 sockets for your ratchet. One is going to be 7/16 and the other one's going to be 1/2 inch. You also need wrenches so that when we're tightening these bolts down, you got something to hold it with. You need a flathead screwdriver and needle nose pliers. All right guys, so this is everything that's included in the box with your purchase of a C27 mower. You got your warranty, setup directions, motor information, handlebars, muffler diffuser, covers, spanner wrench, and all the parts. What you will need are these tools. Just make sure you set those aside before you get going. So let's get started. All right guys, we're gonna use 2 5/16 bolts, 2 washers, and 2 nuts, and we're gonna put the handlebars onto the back of the frame. So here are the handlebars. I wanna say something to you really quick. I've made this mistake before when setting up these mowers. It's kind of hard to see what side is top and bottom, and what you're looking for is this bracket right here. This is the bottom side of the handlebars, okay? So when you go to mount this on the machine, make sure that this is facing the ground and it's not facing up. So guys, the directions don't say anything about attaching these other 2 bolts yet, but I prefer to do that because it makes it easier to attach the U-bolt, which we will get to in the next step, or the last bit of this step. Now I'm going to attach the U-bolt to the motor bracket using the hardware that originally came on the U-bolt. Using a 1/2 inch socket and a 1/2 inch wrench, tighten the rest of the handlebar bolts into position. All right guys, so the handlebars are on now. We're ready to move on to the next step. Just make sure everything feels right, looks right. You can make adjustments later. So at this point, we're gonna move on to step 2. This is pretty simple, fun. Just push this all the way forward. This is the high cut adjustment. So this shrub bar adjusts up and down. You need to push it all the way forward to perform this next step. All right guys, so we're just gonna remove this little bolt so that we can attach this to the shrub bar. So we're gonna attach the height adjustment to the shrub bar right here. Make sure that your little clasp is over the front leading side of the shrub bar. Put your bolt back through and attach the nut. Make sure you don't tighten this all the way down yet, as we'll need to adjust as we attach to the quick height adjustment selector on the handlebars. All right guys, so we're gonna use these 2 longer shoulder bolts and these 2 small nuts to attach the quick height adjustment to the handlebar. All right, so we're ready to attach the quick height adjustment plate to the handlebars. And what I like to do is I like to put the height adjustment in the first hole and pull the shrub bar all the way back. If I need to adjust later on, I can do that, but I wanna get this attached and make sure that I have full range of motion for my height adjustment. All right, so we've got the quick height adjustment plate attached to the handlebars. Now, we just wanna make sure that we have full range of motion from the first slot all the way to the back, so just go ahead and adjust all the way back. Good, looks like we have full range of motion. Now we're ready to tighten everything down and secure it in place. All right, remember we left this little guy here on the shrub weldment loose, and we're gonna wanna tighten it up now. Just keep in mind, you don't want this to rub anywhere on the motor. So let's find a good spot for it and tighten her up. All right, we're on to step 4. We're almost done. We are going to take the threaded end of one of these rods and we're going to pull it right up through here. Threaded side up, and we got a little side with a flat and a hole. And we're gonna put our clevis pin and attach it to the reel engagement. So this is a bit of a cluster here. but best way to do it is to just get that spring in place. Then we'll take our clevis pin and our washer, and we're gonna put the washer right up there on the clevis pin and run it through, and you're gonna pass the clevis pin all the way through until you can see the hole for the cotter pin, and we're just gonna slip the cotter pin in place. We're gonna take one of the sides of the cotter pin and bend it, and we're done. All right, so we're gonna attach the other clutch rod to the other side. It's pretty similar as the first side that we did, guys, except we have a different sequence for the clevis pin, the return spring, the washer, and the cotter pin. So we're just gonna get this into place. Every machine is different. This one's a little bit tight to get the rod in here at the bottom, but I'm just gonna line it up right now. We're gonna take the clevis pin, pass it from the inside to the outside. Now, grab your return spring, and you're gonna slip it around the bottom of the clutch and slip it on to the rod. Take your washer, slip it onto the clevis, and then put in your cotter pin. I'm just gonna bend this right here up a little bit to keep it in place. All right, guys, we're on step 5. We're ready to attach this hardware to our clutch rods, and it's pretty simple. We're gonna thread the bolt onto the clutch rod and put the little star washer, and then of course our pull lever. And you just attach the push button by screwing it on until it's tight, and then on the back side you tighten up the nut on the back. All right, guys, step 6, we're gonna take this little plate and attach it to the handlebars. Take it, put the ridges on the top of the handlebar, slide it down, hold the front up, snaps right down there in place. Take your screw and screw it in with your flathead screwdriver. All right, guys, we're on step 7. We're almost done. This is awesome because you're gonna be mowing soon. All we have to do is attach the throttle control to the handlebars. And the first thing that we need to do is actually take off the air filter cover and the air filter. So just unscrew it right here. You probably already know how to do this, but let's just be thorough. Next, we'll want to loosen the pincher plate for the throttle. Next, you'll take the throttle cable, just feed it through that little hole right there. It's hooked into place. Tighten your plate back. Make sure that when you're tightening your plate, you've got the notch on the proper side. All right, so if you'll look at the throttle control right here, you'll see that it's equipped with all the nuts and bolts, and there's some spacers in here, guys. Anytime that I'm taking something apart or putting something together, I take a picture of it beforehand. Obviously, you're looking at this video, so you can see how they're arranged. We'll need to make sure that these go back into place. So take your nuts off here. Okay, guys, so we're gonna attach the smaller screw first. This one requires this barrel spacer, so you're gonna wanna put that on the screw before you try to put it on the handlebars. So we're ready now to put that screw through that first hole, put our washer back on, and the nut. Now we'll take our larger bolt, put our washer back on, and our nut. If you have extra slack, you can use this Bodine clip to secure the throttle cable to the handlebars. Reinstall your air filter. All right, guys, so that wraps up the installation for the handlebars and the setup for the Tru-Cut 27 lawnmower. You're gonna wanna fill it up with some oil if you wanna run it. It's gonna take 19 ounces of 10W30. And once you do that, again, refer back to your owner's manual. Make sure you check everything out. Any service or replacement parts can be found at reelrollers.com. If you like this video or if you found it helpful, make sure to like and subscribe this video, and happy mowing.